Welcome, friends, gamers, and other enthusiasts to the BoydofZINJ channel. I hope you enjoy your time here and the video. Please like, subscribe, do all the bell icons, and comment. It really does help small content creators like myself and others by doing so. If you click on the notifications, it may even let others and the YouTube gods know that they may enjoy these videos. With that being said, let's play. Yes, I know I've done a lore series on this, and I've done this on episode one, but I just want to reiterate. I'm using City Skylines as the game, and I'm using elements of the Battletech Universe to do light role play into the series. Most of the people or citizens in City Skylines, I'm going to assume, are part of one of the 5 or 6 major factions and come from the Battletech Universe circa 3025, mostly from the Innisphere. There are also some additional situations or gameplay issues that I like to address as well. I like everyone to close their eyes and picture this. These refugees landed on a planet that needed to be terraformed. It took approximately 2,000 years to terraform this planet. The planet is now suitable for human life, and cities and villages are being formed throughout the globe. The current area is on the far side of the globe. It's in a temperate location, meaning that the temperatures are not extremely hot, but not extremely cold. It's more hot than cold, though. Likewise, there are 5 major factions and a 6th faction which doesn't have as much political agenda or clout. Of course, I'm talking about House Lyle, House Steiner, House Davian, House Merrick, House Krita, and the last faction, major faction for the Battletech Universe in my gameplay is, of course, Comstar. As mayor of this new town, I have to build it up, bring in resources, organize the town in such a way to be successful, to bring prosperity to the citizens, and hopefully the other factions will see value in the city and start coming in. Each new faction that comes in will start making demands, and there will eventually be city council meetings that will bring up certain agendas to the table. For right now, we're at population zero. The BoydofZINJ family and mayor has hired some contractors. Comstar has agreed to move in with some personnel. So primarily, most of the buildings and facilities will be of Comstar. Comstar is the most neutral of all the factions. There's currently I did do a Comstar news feed, and I'm showing it here. I hope you enjoy some of the humor I have on it as well. Now, once the gameplay starts, I'm going to make every effort not to pause. Obviously, at the very beginning of every episode, I'm going to pause, look around. At the end of every episode, I'm going to pause as well. And only on major situations or something dire happens will I pause. I find that leaving it on even the slowest of turns makes it more realistic, in my opinion. And while there's lots of min-maxing to do, you have to remember, I'm starting this game with no mods, no cheats, no console commands, and right now we're at population zero, the pre-Hamlet situation. I have to build up to get additional resources, building options, even road options. I do really hope you enjoy this Let's Play series. So let's get started. Before we hit play on the game, let's take a quick overview of the city. Now, I'm looking at the city, and remember, we're doing this without any cheats or console commands. Funds are limited. I'm using the coal power plant because I find that this is the best overall early power. You don't, once you put it in, you don't have to worry about power for a while. I know that the light spots of the map tend to have farming capabilities. I do see some forest trees where forestry industry may be important. And while early on those power lines are kind of necessary, I find them ugly. Luckily, in City Skylines 2, I hear they're going away for the most part. We are renaming the coal power plant, and of course, this is a Comstar facility. We're also going to name the highways, since the two main highways are going to be an entrance and an exit. I'm going to name them, essentially what you'd think: the Boydton Highway entrance and the Boydton Highway exit. Obviously, the entrance highway, people and vehicles are coming into the city, and the exit highway is when they want to leave the city for whatever reason. You know, eventually we may have to have tolls to prevent such blatant disregard of my livelihood. I'm also going to name the main 6-lane road. This is going to be, originally I was thinking about naming it as Old Boydton Highway because while this is going to be the start of the downtown area, I foresee this to be like the old downtown. Eventually, we're going to have a newer, larger downtown area. But I'm thinking to myself, even though that's something I plan on doing, it may not happen. Likewise, when naming this, a city for a road for the first time, you're not thinking something like this. A person would name this Main Street, which is what I'm going to do here. Now, the primary reason I still have this on pause is I'm just looking this over, thinking, is there anything I need to do? My ultimate goal is to make the city very similar to like the Solaris 7 city, where all the major factions have districts or areas that they can call home. Now, the international zone is what we're starting off with, and this is going to be primarily the Comstar zone as well. However, unlike Solaris 7, I'm not going to have them integrated in this pattern. This is just a what I'm thinking is what I want to do with the city. Again, things may change. While I have this as my goal and plans, situations and also the city council members themselves may have different agendas for me as well. Regardless, let's get ready to start playing. And again, this is just a blueprint. This is just an idea. I'm not saying that the Davians are going to be to the immediate west, and then Lyles, and then Steiners. This is just a blueprint that I have in my mind. Roleplay wise and also faction wise, the vast majority of people who are going to be entering the city will be Comstar personnel. And Comstar is in charge of lots of the infrastructure. And you'll see here I'm going to rename the sewage to be Blake's. If you remember if you listen to the Comstar lore, Shug and Haste family are part of Comstar, and they created Blake's Industries, which is an industry which primarily deals with sewage, water intake, and green energy. I create Stone Avenue. Stone is the largest family within Comstar and the ruling family. Then I make Shug Street. Actually, Shug Drive. Again, Shug and Haste are some prominent names and families. And Gang is also a prominent family within Comstar. So I make Gang Drive. Now, this is the industrial side of the city. And I'm thinking Boulevard's a nice name. I'm thinking a Jerome Blake. Again, I'm trying to please the incoming residents or potential residents. All right, I believe for the most part everything's set up. I will need to rename the water intake. Right now, we're at a point where we have very little. And I like to also increase the funding to the roads. I think roads are very important, and we need to upkeep and maintain our roads. Since we have excess power and excess electricity, I'm going to lower these down to save money on the income. Early on, we're going to be losing money until more residents start, coming in. So we have to make sure we have enough money to not, go bankrupt. And obviously, there's a bunch of zeros because we have a zero population. Now we can't until we reach 950. We cannot, start enacting policies. And I imagine at the 950 mark will be our first role-playing city council situation. I'm a 50-plus-year-old gentleman gamer who lives in Texas, which is obviously the United States. And in the United States, we use Fahrenheit. I know the game, most of Europe and other parts of the world use Celsius, and I understand how Celsius works. So I'm changing the temperature to Fahrenheit. Likewise, I'm going over the options to see if there are any other options I want to review or change. I don't see anything of importance, but I'm changing the temperature to Fahrenheit. For me, 75 degrees Fahrenheit makes more logical sense. I'm also renaming the water station. Again, sewage, water intake, green energy is done by the Haste and Shug family business of Comstar, which is Blake's Industries. I also decided to do a mulligan here. I'm going to add one more additional road, and I'm also going to extend the length of the roads as well. This way, I can have a potentially larger population, because I know early on I'm going to be losing money, and early on we need to get population into the city. Now, I still need these ugly power stations, or so I'm going to keep them for right now. You have Shug Drive. We also have Yang Drive. So I'm going to name this Haste Drive. All right, I think it's time for me to finally hit play, and let's start this game up. I'm just going over one last time to make sure I'm not missing anything crucial. I do have, basic, commerce, industry, and of course residential zones populated. And I see here that construction has begun. We're currently at 0 population. So who's doing the construction? I'm just going to imagine that it's my outside contractors. And then I realized, oh yes, I added a new road, so I'm going to have to make sure that the water gets supplemented. And there will be a few spots that may not have water, so I'm going to extend it just to make sure all the residential areas will have water coverage if they get moved in those areas. Now I'm at approximately $2,200, which, and now going lower because we're at negative. So this is getting dangerous. What do you think will be the first vehicle into the city? Will it be a residential vehicle, industrial vehicle, or commercial vehicle? Will it be a van, truck, car, a business truck? Let's find out. And then I noticed something very odd and very strange. I have a population, but I've been looking. There's no one here. I haven't missed any vehicles, did I? And I'm starting to look around. I don't see any active, vehicles moving into the town, and I've been looking. In fact, I was just asking, what would be the first vehicle into the city? Where are these vehicles? Where are the people? It shows a population, but no people. I now see commercial being zoned in and buildings being zoned in for commercial. And I see here that even the industry, yellow, are starting to have construction. And I see the population's growing, but yet still no people. It's now August 14th, going to be August 15th. 0 on the people. I don't see any vehicles, and I don't even see people traffic. I paused the game on August 16th, 2023. Comstar has decided to introduce a new news feed, the Comstar news feed, August 16th, 2023 edition. A month later, where are all the people? City funds drop to an all-time low. The new mayor panics. Is bankruptcy the final answer? is the main article. And yes, the funds of the city are dropping fast. Another article claims local businesses are scared. This is the right article. And this is an actual picture of an actual business in the city. Game CO manager claims that there are no one on the streets of Boydton. Manager calls the mayor incompetent. The article to the left: are ghosts moving in? Scientists are shocked. New residents of Boydton may be ghosts. If you see the ghost, call the mayor. And sure enough, there's a picture, and there's ghosts in the picture. I'm getting worried. Yes, as the Comstory news feed does indicate, I'm now kind of panicking. The the city funds are dropping like, you know, never before. It's still negative, and there's no sign of actual people. I hope this is some sort of bug. And when all hope is lost, I see something that gives me relief. Look, it's a green vehicle. The first car finally entering the city. It's a sedan, a residential vehicle by Faith Phillips. So, to answer my own question, I previously asked what would be the very first vehicle, a residential, commercial, or industrial vehicle. Turns out it's residential. I thought it was going to be an ore truck or something. But here it is. We have our first resident, Faith Phillips. And sure enough, Comstar seems to agree with me. Faith Phillips is the first official resident of Boydton, official claims. You know, off the record, I guess I'm the official. Faith Phillips is the grounds worker at Garments Unlimited and is proud to move to Boydton. On the right hand side, local business scared. Same situation, same article, but now with a new updated picture, a slight updated picture. Left hand in our article. Ghost debunked. Local Comstar representative has proof that ghosts are fake. Jerome Blake has never mentioned ghosts. Concrete proof ghosts are fake, claimed Comstar representative. And sure enough, I I first thought that a ghost or some glitch in the city skyline matrix was causing me to not see the citizens, but I was wrong. You know, Comstar newsfeed, it was right. That Comstar agent representative is right. There are no ghosts in City Skylines. At least none that I've seen. Interesting. Okay, from this point forward, we're going to play a relaxed version of City Skylines. I'm going to seriously stop pausing it, except towards at the end or any major situations. And I'm going to hope that I have enough money to survive this negative curve and start making positive money. Otherwise, the city's doomed, and I may have to start a new playthrough. I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode is a new episode 1. I hope not, but it could be the case. Regardless, here's the Comstar newsfeed. Let's see what happens next, and let's unpause this game. I'm looking around the city. We're not quite a little Hamlet yet. So I finally unpaused it. And I noticed that the commerce is building, industrial sites are building. I'm looking around. You know, there's no need to rush. We're enjoying. This is the way how city life is supposed to be, viewed. One thing I'm wondering is, where are all these cars are going? And I'm also very nervous about my funds. Now in the negative. You'll notice I'm now negative 31, and my overall budget might be concerning. I'm looking at my water. Water's good, electricity's good, but I'm still in the negative and going down. That's concerning. Oh, sports car. Fancy little sports car. Where are we going here? Grounds worker at the Comstar coal plant. So this is some Comstar added can afford a sports car, evidently. They're parking a sports car. They're visiting the drugstore. Interesting drugstore. Okay, yeah. There's a clown there. And evidently he's putting his car wash, or his car in a car wash as well. Foul Oil. What a name. Right next to a bookstore and a car wash. All right, remember, we've been playing since July. It's now September. And now we're going from midday to dusk. The rotation on this planet is a full rotation from midnight to midnight, from dawn to dawn, dusk to dusk. Takes approximately 113 days, 24 hours in one day. The rotation around the sun, one calendar year, is slightly longer than the Earth. Every month in this planet is 31 days, if I'm not mistaken, including February. I'm also renaming the infamous Gango shop and making it historical. My residents will have access to Gango and the video games there. Even a large city will need access to video games, especially in the strategic central locale, right? You know, near the entrance, near, where lots of population of residents will be going to the west of that location. Oh, look, an ore truck. What driving? Now, when I'm following this ore truck, and remember, I'm doing a voiceover, so I've already seen this. I discovered that the ore truck needs to deposit the ore to the vehicle. I mean, to the coal plant. No biggie. When it does the turnaround, that turnaround looks very hazardous. So I think the whole processing plant needs some sort of like roundabout. There's also business already settled at that location. I don't want to destroy that business. So, and since I'm doing this kind of semi-symmetrical, this turnaround will only be on the on the industrial side, not the residential side. But I know from my planning, I'm going to need a lot of residents. Oh, we finally reached Little Hamlet. I'm going to put it too soon. And now I can get rid of some of these power lines. They're, to me, being in a real life city, I find them appalling and ugly. I know in game it doesn't detract from any type of quality or beauty, but for me, it's an eyesore. Okay, so I extended the roads on both sides. The right side is still the residential. I need to make sure everything's powered properly. Now I'm debating what type of road will I need. So I'm going to do an unofficial turnaround right about the coal plant. Why? So when vehicles either go to the coal plant or not, they can make a turnaround. And I plan on having garbage collector on the other side of the road. And I'll probably do something that mirrors this as well. And I like turnarounds, so that way both the garbage collectors and ore trucks can make it to both the power plant or the garbage collecting side without causing undue traffic. I do notice that electricity was low, so I'm raising it slightly. I don't need to raise it significantly. We are still in a comfortable position. And you'll notice, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, we're finally in the positive. We're finally making positive funds. It's not a tremendous amount of money. This is still early in the game, but it's positive. I'm also thinking we need to expand the education. I'm going to need to think of a name for the school. And where do I want to expand the education? I'm thinking probably obviously on the residential side. And I'm thinking to the left of the 4-lane road that's going north-south, I believe it's Stone Avenue, is going to be residential. To the right is going to be commercial. Knowing that, I'm thinking about placing the school on the commercial side for a few different reasons. One, this early on, we need more residential buildings than commercial buildings. Likewise, having a bunch of students and residents purposely go on the commercial side forces crowds to go to businesses that want crowds to begin with to have business. So I think it's a win-win. So I'm deciding about where exactly do I want to place my school. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe the school will need a turnaround as well for the same thoughts, even though I just said I probably won't have mirror it the same way as the industrial side. But I'm still thinking maybe a turnaround would be beneficial for a school. And since a school's much, I'm already planning, and I want to make sure it's not as, since schools are a slightly larger building, and I don't want to relocate and cause money problems. I'm already growing that side. Normally, I like to start off with smaller roads to save money, until the city is more profitable. However, I'm, doing an audible here, right? This is what I think is best for the city. Now, I want to make sure the school goes in a place that I don't have to relocate and spend even more money for no apparent reason. I'm going to debate in my head for a few moments the name of that school. In the meantime, let's take a quick look at the industrial side. I want to make sure that I run about proper. I'm going to have to rename this road as well. But I'm just looking at the industry I have nested with the coal plants. And this is where I'm thinking about placing a recycling center for garbage collection. I like to remind everyone I am not using any console commands, cheats, mods, or anything that will uh, hurt the progress of the game other than standard gameplay. And all achievements are still possible unless I've already received them through my saves. And I'll show you quickly. All my saves will show the achievement possibility is available. So I'm not using any type of cheats or console commands or gameplay loops or what have you or mods to affect the game. This is the vanilla experience with all paid content, DLCs included for the full version of the original City Skylines game. It's about time we change the name of the school. I'm thinking the first elementary school, the first school in our grand city, should be the Alexander Kerensky Elementary School, a fitting Battletech Universe Battletech name. I'm also thinking that the city, or I'm sorry, the school will deserve a circle very similar to what I did to the industrial side. I'm going to do it to the city. I'm sorry, to the school on the residential side. This way, anytime people are dropping off their school children, they can easily turn around and go the other way if needed. And of course, I'm going to have to rearrange the power lines a bit. Again, they're still necessary at this point of the cycle of the game. We just entered Hamlet. Eventually, I'm going to be erasing most of these power lines. They're unsightly, and I do not like them. Let's check the electricity. And I noticed, oh boy, the electricity is getting to the yellow zone. So since we have excess power, I've been divulging the budget to make it cheaper. So I'm going to increase the taxes so I can gain extra money. Traditionally speaking, I put residential as the highest tax because that's usually the highest hunger in the game. And then I always like a robust commercial, and I usually have the commercial taxes lower than all the other taxes to encourage a commercial industry. And then lastly, I put the industrial industry in between residential and commercial for tax purposes. Let's rename this turnaround, the circle road. I'm thinking the word of Blake, circle. Sounds like a real simple name. Again, most of these residents are going to be affiliated with Comstar, not all of them. So I'm still going with the Comstar International theme for these roads and districts and what have you, this area. I'm doing the circle turnaround over here, and I'm going with something very simple. Again, something Comstar related. There's a Yang Industrial faction, so Yang Industrial Circle. We have garbage collecting. We're going to need to have garbage. I'm thinking about taking out a loan, but we're we're making positive money, and we're close to 16,000. So I'm going to hold off in getting a loan. We're still Hamlet. I want to stay as a Hamlet for a little bit longer than normal. I know many people try to rush to be a large city as big as possible, but I find being a small city early and making profits can grow the city even larger in the future, because this is the formation of a large city, and traditionally speaking, we had the fewest funds when we started forming the city. So any additional funds that we get now will just make the growing pains easier. Let's take a look at this forestry truck. We don't have any forestry industries, and it's going to a garment factory. Correct me if I'm not wrong, but aren't garments clothing? Why would clothing need so much wood? If you know the answer, please leave a comment and let me know. I'm really curious. I would imagine, people aren't wearing wooden shoes, maybe wooden dresses. Maybe convert some of the wood into pulp, but that's paper. So I don't know why a garment would need so much wood. Better yet, this is a pie truck. Why is a pie truck in a business with an ice cube factory? This doesn't make sense. I know some of the businesses are goofy, but an ice cube factory, to begin with, it's goofy, and then it has a pie truck. I think Comstar needs to get us educated. And sure enough, the Comstar newsfeed, middle article, Comstar discovers possible fraud. Pizza van at local ice cube factory. Why do we need an ice cube factory? Better yet, why is there a pie van there? Local, oh boy, you're free to read this. Left hand article, forestry truck unloads tons of wood at local garment factory. Again, if you know why, leave me a comment. Let me know why. Right hand article. the first local elementary school opens. The Alexander Kerensky Elementary School, and that's a mouthful, is open for all citizens. Comstar children instantly enrolled. And if you're wondering why I'm having a little trouble reading, the screen I'm looking at right now, it's actually kind of zoomed out, so it's a little hard for me to see what I'm viewing. Let's, you know what? Let me make the Comstar feel a little larger. For you, the Comstar newsfeed will always look this large, but I just, you know, increase the size through magic, through the power of editing. Let's get back to the city. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. I'm really looking at my finances. And I do need to grow, but I really don't want to grow too fast. I'm sure the min-max person will say, well, if I get to the next, to the capital city, for instance, level, I have access to more options and I can, you know, make a better city faster. While that is definitely true, I want to slow down a little bit. I'm trying to build a realistic type city. And that doesn't mean necessarily that it looks realistic too, but I want to make decisions based on what I currently have available. You know, hard choices. Right now, I'm looking to garbage collection is going to be an issue. I'm also checking my water and electricity, make sure I'm within acceptable limits, which I am. And again, I like having early on roundabouts on my major utilities. That way, trucks can go to the right places correctly and traffic flows a lot smoother as well. So this is what you see me doing. I'm just creating a roundabout near the area that I'm having garbage collection, a recycling center. And yes, I could have gone for the other garbage collector, but again, I want to try and stay green. The people of Neo Terra and Comstar primarily want green, recyclable resources whenever possible. It's understood that, you know, we're going to get dirty from time to time, but we need to stay green. And since Yang Industry deals with green energy, Yang, you know, Yang Industry is the part of the recycling center. Yang Industrial. And I'm also thinking about the roads as well. Again, Yang is a very important family within the Comstar, so I'm trying to please the Comstar personnel that are coming to my city. Right now, there are several factions, the 5 major houses, and Comstar. And only Comstar has agreed to mostly come with me. There's a few neutrals, you know, here as well. And eventually those neutrals will become important as well. For instance, the very first resident has become a local town hero for some odd reason. The current celebrity, local celebrity in the town of Boydton is actually the first resident, Faith Phillips. Faith Phillips, for whatever reason, has become a local celebrity, and it's been theorized that future roads or buildings and industries may be named after Faith Phillips or either the Phillips family name. I've noticed that I don't have any health care. We did open up health care, but again, money. I need money. So we're going to wait a while. Again, the common school of thought is we need to rush through the various stages of of the city. You go from a hamlet to a upcoming village to capital city, what have you, to gain extra money. However, again, the overall feel of this playthrough is we're not rushing. We're trying to build a city organically and based on the current resources that we have. And we want to have people, within the city and also factional representatives alter the gameplay of and even our overall design of the town. Now I'm trying various different roads because I saw that there was traffic parking spaces there, but I want these to be one-way roads. And unfortunately, at this time, I have very limited access to what one-way roads are. Boy, that's a tongue twister. As a result, I'm limited on which roads I can use to go one way. And because I just replaced them and there's water, the left side of the road seems, or the west side seems to be cleaner than the right side, even though it's the same road. It's a visual bug. All right, so we're close to getting a medical center. And again, I'm going to do something very similar. This medical center is going to be a neighborhood medical center. It's going to be for the folks that are moving in. And I'm going to want to build a roundabout around there too. So if a citizen's coming from the south and they need to, hit it, that's fine. But if they're coming from the north, instead of going all sorts of goofy ways just to turn around, they could just make the quick runabout to get to the proper entrance for the medical center. And then I remember, oh yes, garbage. Garbage. I need to deal with garbage. But we already have, garbage taken care of, if I'm not mistaken. It's time to deal with the medical center. And I'm trying to make a roundaway, and align it as best as I can. And luckily, vanilla City Skylines does give me some assistance, which is surprising. A lot of people don't think this, but City Skylines is a great game. It does a lot of amazing stuff on its own. And I'm calling it the Yang Way. And I'm putting this part of the ComGuard faction for the medical clinic. Okay, so I created the ComGuard's medical clinic for the residents of Boydton, at least the fledgling residents of Boydton. I made a turnaround so that way, again, if a vehicle is coming from the south, it could easily access the clinic. It's coming from the north, it can take the quick turnaround and access the clinic. I view the elementary school and the clinic as the backbone of the residential area, the fledgling, residential area that's formed, which means I want to have easy access to these two specific areas. We will be growing the residential infrastructures with high schools eventually, other services, such as police and fire services. But these two are the first two infrastructures which I consider very important to the residents of Boydton. Now, I am also giving them some commercial districts. And I'm slowly expanding some of the residential areas. Again, I don't want to rush to the next zone of the city, the next plateau. I want to make sure that I have enough funds and my infrastructure and basic layout is more or less ready to go. Again, we're severely limited on what options we have on, roads and other services. but I'm slowly growing the city. The next thing I want to make sure to take a look at is I want, if you notice, all the roads are named after some sort of historical figure, or either within the faction or the overall Battletech history. Now the system is giving a warning about schools, and does tell me that there's a community school I can pick up. However, I noticed that we're well above the school limit, so additional school, elementary school is not needed yet, at least in my opinion. And now it's going to tell me about something about libraries, I believe, and I don't even have access to libraries. Okay, I'm looking at the funds, and I'm over 10K, nearing 13K. So I decided it's time to expand the city. Now I'm looking at the turnaround, and I notice here that it's kind of making the my roads into the residential areas a little goofy. So I'm expanding the circle, the turnaround circle, a bit. And the most important part is making sure I have the correct types of roads I'm selecting. While you would naturally think I should put residential areas near a school, I'm thinking we need to put commercial buildings. And we finally reached the next plateau. We're now Worthy Bridge. We can now purchase, another plot of land, but we also have a new street we just created. And I'm going to name it after the explorer Eduardo Clark. Clark is the one who was one of the very few Comstar adepts who were stuck here with the refugees, who was part of the Explorer Corps. He had a sense of adventure and wanted to explore the galaxy looking for Kerensky. That never came true. He got stuck with the refugees on this distant planet in an unknown system, probably galaxies away. As a result, he started to explore this planet. And Clark is the one who discovered these group of islands, and this street is being named after Clark. I also noticed that the waterway is not quite reaching all the south part of the zoned areas. But again, I'm thinking, well, I'll eventually expand, but there's lots of other things I want to take care of first. Expansion is a secondary feature. The first thing is we want to build the infrastructure a bit more. And then I'm looking at the time. We just reached the next plateau, the Worthy Village, and I'm going to end it here. I'm just going over, the city and deciding where I should be, which part of the land should I get. East does not seem to be a very viable land. That has very little actual land, mostly oceans. North seems very viable. South seems very viable. And west seems viable. I'm leaning towards the west. However, I believe Comstar will have something to say about that. But for now, we're going to end this session of the Let's Play. And in the next Let's Play view, Comstar is going to approach us and tell us which plot of land that Comstar wants us to grab. And again, it may not be for the best. Regardless, thank you very much for the Let's Play, for watching this Let's Play series. If you have any comments or concerns, please leave them below. I appreciate any comments you give me. And if you want your name somewhere on one of these streets or an industry you think I should promote, especially if it's a biotech lore industry, let me know and tell me why. Until next time, have fun, stay safe. It's that time of the video where I'd say adios. Thank you for watching. And if you're hearing this, I really like to say thank you for staying at least this long or skipping to the end. I really appreciate it. Better yet, the YouTube gods seem to enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, click on the bell icon to notification alerts. It really does help content creators like myself. I need the help. If you have any suggestions about my YouTube content or my channel or about this video, I'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment. Regardless, I'd like to thank you for watching. Stay safe, be entertained, enjoy life, and until next time, adios, goodbye. Hope your RNG is better than mine. Thank you.
All hands, initiate shutdown sequence.